जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. Welcome Sangat ji to the Sangat of the Divine Light weekly discourse. As we welcome a new year, 2024. So as we bid farewell to 2023 and we welcome this new year of 24, Sangat ji, let's take a few moments to reflect on the year that's passed. And let us motivate ourselves for the year that's to come. The one thing that's striking to me is just how quickly time flies. For instance, I can't believe that we're coming to almost our 4th year of Sangat of Divine Light now, from when these discourses actually started. For when I first saw Bhai Sabji's videos on Facebook. And I remember thinking to myself, I'll join for maybe 1 or 2 sessions, I'll see how it goes. But what's developed here is some really beautiful memories. We've created some beautiful moments, some treasured memories, some treasured moments by sitting in the Sangha together. And we're continuing to develop those beautiful relationships. We're continuing to raise our vibrations together. And these are truly blessed moments, Sangatji. We often look at milestones like New Year's, birthdays, any celebrations, certain events in our life, good and bad, as a point of reflection. We measure our time in years, Sangatji. We measure our time in age. If we just reflect for a second, how quickly has the last year just gone? Think of all the things that we've been through, experienced, seen, both personally and as a Sangat as well. How quickly has that flown by? And then if we pause and reflect for a second, have we ever wondered that you might only get 30, 40, 50, 60 of those? How quickly that year has gone by, and then you might only get 60, 70 of those. Not many at all. The other thing, Sangatji, is that we measure ourselves in years. But the scriptures have told us, time and time again, that our time is limited to this very moment, to our breath, not our years. We're given breath as currency, not years. It's for this reason, that, Sangatji, that the Guru, the Divine, has told us to protect our now. For each and every moment is fruitful. And the next moment, the next breath is not guaranteed. Dam dam sada samalata dam na birtha jai. Protect each and every breath. Do not waste any breath. Hum admi ha ekadami, Guru Nanak says. What am I? I am just one breath. Protect this moment, the Guru says, because the next is not guaranteed. Each and every moment for us is a present that has been present, an opportunity for us to raise our vibration and achieve our spiritual potential. As the scriptures, the Guru Granth Sahib Ji has told us, Oye din pair murat pal kaise, oye pal kari kehari. Blessed is that day, that hour, that minute, that second, where those heavy shutters, those rigid shutters are opened, and my desires are quenched. So whereas the New Year's event, this time, is a time for new reflections, new beginnings, let us not forget, Sangatji, that any moment, any second, any time is ours for the taking. In each and every moment, each and every day, we can recreate ourselves, we can rejuvenate ourselves. Each and every moment can be new. Because the Divine themselves are new, they're continually creating in each and every moment, in each and every second. Saib mera neet nava sada sada datar, Guru Nanak Dev Ji tells us. that my divine is forever new, forever rejuvenating. Sada sada tata, they're continually giving and giving and giving out of compassion. What is a resolution, Sangatji? We've probably made loads of them. And I don't know about you, but certainly for me, whenever I've made some of these worldly resolutions, they haven't lasted longer than January, the end of January. The usual resolutions: eat less chocolate, go to the gym, take up a new hobby, take up a new interest. And if we unpack this a little bit, Sangatji, why do these fail? Quite simply for me, because none of these are actually genuine. They're not rooted in any genuine intention to change, to inspire, to grow. And then along with this, Sangatji, there's no real thought or plan given to how you're actually going to incorporate those changes in your life. Those changes that you want to make, you haven't actually given any thought, or I haven't given any thought to how that's actually going to be implemented, how that's even going to work. And in this, we pass our moments, our years, not actually getting much further. So we may have spent many times going into a Sangat, we may have spent many times going to a temple, gurdwara, a church, but in the end, all we're doing is journeying to and fro. That change hasn't actually happened. As the Guru Granth Sahib Ji tells us, Changiyayi alak kare, buryayi hoye ser, Nanak ajkal avasi, gafal bhai per. Talking about the state of humankind, the Guru is telling us he's reluctant to do good, but really quick to practice evil and deceit. Nanak says, today or tomorrow, the feet of this careless fool shall fall in this trap, the trap of death. If we examine this life, if we examine the life of those preordained masters, the purest of saints, the Gurumukhs, the disciples, we find these things in common. We find that they have faith and determination. They have taken conscious steps to change, to inspire, to grow. And they've not waited for any specific date or time to do this. Because as soon as that realization comes, as soon as they realize that they're not this body, that they are something more, as soon as they realize that this existence is false, and that they want to go to their true home, they want to find their true home within, as soon as they're looking for that destination within themselves, they start to build their spiritual growth. They make those spiritual resolutions. We too, Sangatji, have a beautiful opportunity here and now to create something amazing, to develop our own spiritual intentions and resolutions. And if we're truly genuine in our approach, the Guru has told us that if we're genuine in our approach, these intentions, these resolutions will manifest in our reality. Sai vasta parapatoe jit seti manalaya. We will receive in our reality everything that we're manifesting if the sponsoring thought behind it is genuine. If we truly wish for the divine, to find or realize the divine, that the divine will manifest in our reality. If our intention is true, if our intention behind our approach is genuine, then we will see the divine in each and every person. We will see the divine within ourselves. That wall of separation will break. These spiritual resolutions, Sangatji, are a tool for us to ignite our passions in the divine. They're not something to hold on to, but this is for us to ignite our passion, to increase our intensity of that love, that faith, that determination to find the divine. And these allow us to manifest these divine commitments in our life and to receive this beautiful experience. And as the scriptures and as the preordained masters, and as these saints and as gurumukhs have shown us, they are a practical example that if we take one step to the divine, one step, the divine takes thousands to us. Just one step, that determination, that action, and the divine takes care of everything else. One thing is for certain, Sangatji, that if we want to develop this spiritual practice, if we want to have that closer relationship with the divine, we have to resolve to change. We have to accept that change in our life. And for change to occur, it requires both personal effort and focused intention. Without any of these, no change will develop, no change will happen in our lives. And until we change inside, nothing will change outside of us. We have to start to change within ourselves. We have to become that change. And we know, Sangatji, many of us have come to the Sangat for many years, but there's no demonstrable change in our life. Why? Quite simply, Sangatji, because we've decided that whilst we're sitting in this Sangat, we don't want to embrace that change. We're very resistant to that change. Sometimes we say that we find that change hard, we find that change difficult. But Sangatji, I'll give you an example. A couple that have a child. Their life was living in a certain way before they've had that child, but when that child comes, it's complete chaos. Their routines change, their habits change, everything becomes devoted to that child. Their house is in disarray, their social gatherings are in disarray, everything has just completely just turned on its head. But that's a change that parents accept wholeheartedly. They've accepted that that's a change that's going to happen in their life, and they re-establish themselves, they rebalance themselves. In the same way, when we're trying anything new, it might turn ourselves completely upside down. But in the end, we recenter ourselves, we rebalance ourselves and find our new purpose, a new way of working through things. And in the same way, Sangatji, there are those who come into that Sangat, and in a very short space of time, they achieve such immense blessings. They change their character, they change their nature, and their growth is visible. But this is a path we have to take, one step at a time. It doesn't have to be too dramatic. One step at a time, one change at a time. And change can be hard, especially in the eyes of on the subject of spirituality. It can be hard. Because the Guru has told us that we are working through all our preconditioned thoughts, all our negative emotions that we've gathered over countless experiences. And leaving something behind that's completely unfamiliar to us. Leaving everything behind to go into something that's completely new can be very daunting. So as the expression says, it's better the devil that you know sometimes. But if we pause and reflect on this, Sangatji, I often think that like this, that if you know someone who was close to you who was in an abusive relationship, those that were continually being harassed, being tormented, those that were miserable, what would we say to that person? You may help them seek help. You may advise them to seek guidance. You may ask them to talk to someone to help through their problems. You might try and mediate between everybody. Or essentially you may say, look, it's better to walk away from those experiences for your own peace of mind. In the same way, what about our own internal conflicts, Sangatji? All those things that are causing us torment, all those things that are causing us anguish, those that are allowing our mind to live in frustrations. How does our anger make us feel? How do those attachments make us feel? that lust, those desires that are all-consuming, may seem sweet in a moment, but they can produce a whole lifetime of regret. How much energy do any of these things take away from us? And how much of our life and our potential do we lose through these negativities? Surely we cannot be happy living in this way and living with these daily frustrations in our mind. But we can make the conscious step to change those right here, right now. We can recreate ourselves right here, right now, with the decisions, with the thoughts, with the habits that we create. The first step, Sangaji, is to realize we need that change. And then with the power of the Sangat, with the association of the Sangat, we find those that uplift us, that guide us, that inspire us, that motivate us. Going through this change, Sangaji, means dismantling each and every thought, unbreaking all of those processes, reevaluating ourselves through the wisdom of the Guru and what we're learning, what we picked up from the Satsangat. So don't be mistaken. This is not about stop thinking. This is not about not thinking. This is not about not using your intelligence. This is simply about changing the data entry and changing what information we're inputting into our system that processes the decisions that we make. This is about developing a filter to separate ourselves from that fake news that's conditioned us. And to that means getting rid of our previous misconceptions, our judgments, wiping our slate clean. So let's take a few moments again. We can make these spiritual resolutions now to increase our awareness, increase that positivity in our life. Take your everyday life, Sangaji. Your ordinary everyday life. You're eating, you're sleeping, you're going to work, you're going to study, you're looking after the children. The way you walk around life. Take all your normal everyday activities and place it as an offering to the divine. Make the divine a part of your ordinary life journey and not something that's separated, not something that's an extension to everything that you do. This is why the divine has told us, the gurus have told us, live in this world. Be unattached to this world, but live in this world. Find the divine within the creation, within this world. And in this way, we will start to process that change from inside out. When we start making the divine the center, an integral part of our life. So how do we make these spiritual resolutions? I would like to introduce 4 strategies that have helped me personally. And you may find that you are useful for yourself. But firstly, look back. When making spiritual resolutions, I find it's important to look back sometimes. Look at your spiritual practices, what connected you, those fond memories that you have. But then reevaluate those as well. Are you practicing out of any sort of comfort or ritual, or is that passion still there? And if that passion's there, how do you develop and build on that passion? Sangaji, the important thing is here in spirituality that if you want to get anywhere further in life, if you want to get anywhere further in your spiritual practice, we need the advice of someone who could guide us. We need someone who could identify our condition and take us forward in our spiritual goal and our spiritual quest. Therefore, it's ever important to take the advice of the Sangat, come in the Sangat, listen to the inspiration and motivation that you'll get from that Sangat to develop your own spiritual practice. Ask your friends, ask that mentor, that spiritual guide who will guide you and practice you to your next stage. Take their direction, take their focus, and in doing so, make these your spiritual resolutions. Otherwise, when we're trying to walk through the dark vortex of Maya, when we're trying to swim through this, it'll be difficult to find our direction. unless we know what we have to physically work on, what we have to spiritually work on. These spiritual guides, these gurmukhs, these sants, these mahapurushs, these gurmukhs, Guru Sikhs disciples, these bhagats will be able to guide us. This Sangat will guide us, and they'll give us the focus to deepen our divine experience. The second Sangat is to walk away. Be prepared to walk away. This may sound quite harsh, but sometimes we just need to remove those activities, those people, those thoughts, those ideas, those places that are detrimental to our spiritual fulfillment and upbringing. Before we can move forward, we need to identify those things that are toxic to our spiritual journey. And we cannot bring any change or start afresh if we're still writing over the mind-body. If we've got loads of lines written on our soul, those need to be erased first before we can write anything new. So if situations and circumstances do not complement your spiritual growth, change it. Because in the end, whatever we serve becomes our nature. And if we've still got our feet in two boats, then we will capsize in this sea. So before we can move forward with any spiritual resolutions, we need to reduce those distractions. Those mental preconditioning will only bring us down. Thirdly, plan ahead. Look at your schedule, look at your daily life. Decide if those spiritual resolutions are actually realistic for you. Take the guidance of the Sangat. And as we said before, often with New Year's resolutions or any resolutions, any decisions we make, we don't actually consider how we're actually going to plan and accomplish those goals. It sounds good on paper, but they will be difficult to accomplish if we haven't actually thought about how we're going to make time for those things. We need to work out how we factor this in our reality. And I recommend that you make this a part of your day, a part of who you are, not just an extension of who you are. Sooner or later, that thought process then completely goes. When it becomes a choice of choosing the divine or choosing anything else, you choose the divine automatically. That Maya thinking completely disappears. You're automatically choosing the divine all the time. And the spiritualists will come to a point that the divine is the center, the focus of everything, that even everything else becomes so mundane to them. They're living in this world, they're doing everything, but it provides them no interest, no satisfaction at all. The only satisfaction they're getting is by deepening their awareness, their spirituality, and spending more time in a divine moment. And that brings us to the last thing, Sangatji. Start small to achieve big. You don't have to do anything dramatic. Growth can be very incremental. Just like anything in life, when you're changing something, you need time to adjust and then examine those results. Others around you will need to get used to your new way of working, your new way of living. For instance, if you wish to increase your meditation, for example, go up in increments of minutes. Keep a timer. Increase it by 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Some spiritualists keep a tally of meditations. This is not to count the prayers that you're doing. It's not for that. It's just to increase your determination and also to make you aware about the many breaths that you may have previously just wasted. Find a support network, that Sangat, that you can meditate with, you can serve with. Those that are trying to meditate in the early hours of the morning, wake up 5 minutes or 10 minutes earlier than you normally do. And then build on that slowly. Increase that time gradually, organically, naturally. And gradually your time will automatically increase. The same thing, Sangatji, for those that are well established in their spiritual practice. They too can also increase their time incrementally. Sedje, as we say. Slowly, naturally, organically. It's not for me, Sangatji, to give you any ideas of what spiritual resolutions that you should take or make. We're all on an individual personal journey as we're diving deeper into the divine. But once you come into the Sangat, you get that inspiration, that motivation. And if you're lucky enough to have a guide, a spiritual master, someone who could guide you through your processes, who can tell you where you are in your spiritual practice, then take their guidance, adopt it, practice it. Ask them questions about it, because this is your opportunity to do so. When they're not around, then you think about all the things you could have asked them and all the things you could have said and all the guidance that you probably required and needed, and then it's too late. The route for any development, Sangatji, starts with the Sangat. As Babaji will say, Sangat, the Sangat, the Sangat. Simran, 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 to meditate, Seva, to serve, to serve, to serve. So Babaji will say these things. Firstly, don't think about anything else. Don't think about the doctrines. Don't think about the traditions. Don't think about how to meditate. Just simply come into the Sangat. Come and sit there in the Sangat. Simply spend time there. By osmosis, that the effect of the Sangat will come and permeate your whole being, will change you, and you won't even realize what's happening. Being in the presence of the Sangat is bhakti, is devotion itself. But Babaji would tell us that this is a path that does require patience. We will be tested on this path. Tested in what sense? Because as we're going through these Maya transition, as we're going through all those preconceptions, all those perceptions, they will pull at us and they will pull at us and they will pull at us. And going through all of these is a test for our soul. And thirdly, in the Sangha, you will be put through your paces. Like a potter that's fashioning you from one end, from the inside, but beating you from the other. You'll be put through your paces. But what comes out the other end when you come through that whole production line, that process, is something so magnificent, so beautiful. Sangaji, we are coming into 2024 now. And as this calendar changes, let's embrace these changes in our life. Let us embrace these changes in our life right now. May the divine help us let go of our frustrations, our bitterness, our hostilities. Let us cherish these precious moments that we have with the divine. Lastly, I would like to remind us of some of the key messages that Bhai Sahib, Bhai Bahadur Singh Ji, has given us over the last few years of being in their Sangat, being in the Sangat together, and with their inspiration that they've shared us. They've reminded us that if we're able to forgive, we heal ourselves and heal everybody around us. One of the aspects of changing our spiritual direction is the learning to forgive so we can be free. The Sangat has an immense power, Sangatji. The Shabad and the divine are immense powerhouses. The sooner we forgive, the less bitter we become. Forgive sooner before that taste of bitterness grows and takes hold in our heart. It doesn't matter where we are in our spirituality. It doesn't matter how many meditations we do, how many prayers, invocations, manifestations we do. If we are bitter in ourselves, there'll be no place for divine virtues. So Sangatji, let's meditate. Let's find that good Sangat. Let's obey, let's pray. Let's hand over that bitterness to the divine. Let's put it at the feet of the divine so we can truly, truly experience change and detox ourselves in the name of the divine. And with these words, Sangatji, I wish everybody a very peaceful, spiritually enlightened 2024. May we all remain as one loving, devoted, beautiful family as we grow deeper within ourselves. And with these words, Sangatji, I beg your forgiveness. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.